I'm gonna refresh this. Cool. So we're live. Cool. Should I introduce myself first?
Sure, buddy.
Cool. All right. I'm Andrew. I don't know. I just graduated, I guess, recently from college. I got a bachelor's. I don't know. I like cats.
Okay.
This is my mom. I don't know what this. How do I?
All right.
I've
Anyways,
always been bad at introducing myself.
yeah. Well, that's why you write it down.
Well, I should have. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. So my name is Nancy, and so I have been in the Navy for 30 years. I am actually about to retire. Um, officially this week, actually, on the 1st of November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's pretty exciting.
yes, it is exciting. But anyways, so so that's kind of I mean that so obviously being in the Navy for myself, essentially they're in the Navy too because they go everywhere with me. I don't even how many times have we moved that you know of?
I'm gonna say we moved like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's been a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
And so that honestly that takes a toll. And for about 9 years during my career and during their lifetime, I was a single parent, and that kind of adds its own stressors and stuff like that too. Not only that, I mean, not just only to me, but to them as well. There's a lot placed on them. I think, children of single parents kind of have to grow up a little faster and have to learn to do things. I have thanked them many times for, supporting me throughout my career, because there's no way that I could have been as successful as I have been if they were a couple of jerks. So anyways, I'm retiring as a command master chief. I don't think I mentioned that. So I started out.
I don't think so.
I started out as an aviation electronics technician, not a field that generally has a lot of women anyway. It's like less than 5% of the command master chiefs in the Navy are women. So it's definitely
it's a big
pretty
deal.
Well, yeah, and
I think it's a big deal.
You sure? No, I would agree with you, but the other piece to that, it is also that makes it very isolating, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of something that I've had to deal with, I think, increasingly over the period of my career, as there were less and less women in my peer group. And, quite frankly, I think a lot of pressure to not still be there, because I think we still have a lot of folks who don't think that women can or should be doing certain jobs. So then I think that kind of takes us into what is this show?
Yes. Would you like to say it or me? I don't know. We didn't really come up with
Let's just go, buddy.
Okay.
Roll.
So, the show is called Mindfulness Monday. It's
So why?
I was gonna
why?
go just why.
Because it's Monday.
That too.
Okay.
Why not?
And so mindfulness actually encompasses a lot of stuff. And so we are going to talk about like kind of a whole series of different topics. Meditation is a piece of that, and there's a lot of benefits that you can get from meditation, physically, mentally, and I mean, it's scientifically proven. And so in future episodes, I think we'll maybe put in a few links to some of that stuff. So then, so you can see that for yourself. But there's definitely, and so Mindfulness Monday. So we'll be going through this, and why am I doing this?
Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this together?
Exactly. Well, and so for me, again, like I said, having been in the Navy for 30 years, I think it's, and sometimes difficult to reach the younger service members. And he is exactly actually the average age of service members. So the average age of all service members is actually 22, because most of all military members are young, like right out of high school and stuff. So, so this kind of, to me, is my way of, I was doing this on a bit of a scale there at the base that I was the command master chief of. And so I just kind of wanted to do this on a different level and see how we can do this better to connect, I guess, cross-generationally. Yeah. And so that's one piece. So for you, what?
Oh, like why it's important to me? Or like, why are we doing this?
Well, why are you doing this with me?
So I'm doing this because I guess people my age, they don't really take like mental health, I guess, seriously, like to like what it should be. Like, sure, it's said like in high school, like they say a couple things like, hey, check in on your buddy, make sure like they don't have any thoughts or whatever about suicide and all that. And it's I don't know, I feel like it's not really serious. Like, it doesn't seem too serious.
Kind of like maybe a joke, sort of.
Kinda, in a way. Like, sure, there's a poster there, but what is that gonna do?
Yeah, or like you're like, hey, you gonna kill yourself? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Like, okay. That's, I don't know. It's a serious matter, I think.
No, it is, absolutely.
I don't think anyone should end their life, or I don't know. Hopefully we can promote like healthy thoughts, like turn man, I'm at a loss for words now, but
well, kind of I would say igniting new neural pathways.
Yes.
Because honestly, a lot of negativity, you know what I mean when I say rumination?
No.
Okay, so rumination, it's like you keep having the same thought over and over, right? Okay. And like a squirrel on a treadmill, and it's like the same negative, especially the negative feedback loop over and over, right? Okay, so rumination absolutely can lead to depression, anxiety, different things like that. And so essentially the rumination burns that neural pathway into your brain. So now your brain has learned to be depressed. Okay. So how do you get out of that? Right. And so typically, like, what happens a lot, traditionally, in recent times, medication. And medication is, it's a good thing, but it's not the final thing.
It should not be the go-to, like, solution, I think. Like, there should be...
Well, and not to discount, any type of psychiatric meds. I think sometimes you get to a point where, like I was talking about with the rumination, where the negative feedback loop has gotten so tight that you need external help to break the cycle. But you also then have to be doing something else to fix the problem, right? Okay, so and that's one of the things where meditation has actually been scientifically proven to help with the growing neural pathways in a positive way. So it's kind of like working a muscle. So if with the rumination, the negative thoughts, you've really worked that muscle, right? And it's big. So that is a big neural pathway right now. So now with the meditation and kind of slowing it down, you're now working another muscle. And then now this muscle, because you're not focusing on it, is just getting small and flabby, which is what we want. We want the negative
To go
rumination
away.
to be small and flabby. Okay.
What a good analogy.
So yeah, and the other thing, so then you talk about anxiety and depression, right? And so anxiety is where you're worrying about the future, and depression is where you're dwelling on the past, right?
Yeah.
And probably the worst of both is when you're worrying about the future and dwelling on the past, right? So now you have anxiety and depression, and the here and now is not good. I mean, you're not even you're not even appreciating what you have in the here and now, essentially, right?
You're more concerned about like what's going to happen, and
You're like paralyzed almost, right? Yeah. Okay. So, so you're paralyzed and you're not even in the moment. And so again, that is where we want to try to break that loop. There are a lot of methods that you can do. So mindfulness, literally in a nutshell, is focusing on the present, is being here right now. And so that is actually kind of really, and there's so many ways of doing that and so many ways to add that in to your life. So that's something that we're, like I said, we'll keep doing this series and working on a different topic each week. And because some things will speak to certain people and some things will, speak to other people that'll work for you. So
yes. So would you like to move on? Like, the next thing. So when will we be doing this show? Every single Monday, hopefully, unless something comes up. But we are shooting for every day Monday at 8 p.m.
So why is this important to you, Andrew?
Oh, why is this important? So, I hate going from like a positive, like a positive thing. Like, so it's gonna be a little bit negative for a little bit. So in the beginning of, or I guess in high school, towards the beginning of my sophomore year, I probably was the most depressed that I ever was. I truly wasn't happy. I wasn't making the most of where I was at this moment. We were living in Massachusetts at the moment, and I don't know. It's just I don't know. I felt really miserable there. The people at that school, they've known each other ever since like I don't know, grade school or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, like, nobody moves from this area.
Mm-hmm.
So like me, like an outcomer or a newcomer, it was just super hard to fit in. But when that was kind of towards the time like my mom started doing, like, she found like meditation and like mindfulness exercises where it kind of changed the way she thought. Like, and I was just like, I wonder if I can do something like that. Change the way I think as well. So I practiced. Well, I can't say that I practiced with her immediately. She kind of nagged me to do it for a bit. Like, it took a while before I actually said, okay, sure, why not? So I did that. A couple sessions, and I've already started to like think a little bit differently about life, and now I started to make the most of the moment right there. I made it. I actually like 2 weeks after I started doing my thing, I actually met a really good person there at school. His name's Ricky. I still talk to him every now and then, but I don't know. I'm grateful for the meditation lessons and like mindfulness exercises during those tough times. Also, I'm grateful for my friend Ricky for also becoming my friend while I'm there.
Yeah, and maintaining those personal connections is obviously really important to mental health as well. Um, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too. So one of the things like he mentioned about moving to Arizona there, so not
No, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. So that was actually also a really tough time for me as well, because I could see, that he was struggling there, and I think especially mothers are really sensitive to what their kids are going through, and also where we were living. Even though it was a great area and the schools were great, my commute was terrible, and it was like sucking the life out of me, and it was just.
Tell them how far you would have to drive to work every single day.
It was only 22 miles. But it would literally, on a good day, it was 45 minutes. On a average, it was an hour and a half. And in bad traffic, it could take as much as 3 hours one way. And, yeah, it was awful. Yeah, it was awful. So that was a really tough period for me. And as he mentioned, so I started kind of learning some other holistic practices and stuff like that, which were very helpful to me. And I still maintain that when we moved back to Virginia. And then, I'm going to say, gosh, like 2017 was honestly a really bad year for me.
2017?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like when I moved out, I guess.
Well, so there was a combination of things there, because so in 2016, so my dad passed away, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right before Thanksgiving, and it was pretty sudden and unexpected to me. He probably had been sick for a while and not really letting on. I was at peace with our relationship, so even though that was tough, it was like, okay, you know what I mean? But then I would say right when we got home from that, like maybe a week later, Jeremy, who's my nephew, his cousin, called, and he's like, hey, Aunt Nancy, I'm getting a transplant. And I had promised him that I would be there, and so it was like, okay.
Yeah, it was.
So I was like, we found, I don't know, I think I got on the plane either the next day or the day after, something like that, to fly out there. So I was there when he woke up from the surgery. So I stayed there with him for a week, and, like probably 12 hours a day at least, I was sitting there with him, just to watch over him and, be there anytime he was awake. And, we had a lot of really good conversations and stuff, and when I left, he was doing pretty well. And like, before I left, he was like, he was able to stand on his feet, he gave me a hug, and then, I flew home, and I was supposed to come back to see him the first week of January, and then he actually passed away. I think it was like a couple days before I was supposed to fly out there, and that was just a huge blow to me, because he was like you know, like a stepson, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were very close. And so, you know, dealing with that, and then, trying to help my sister and my brother-in-law through that, because again, that's just devastating, losing a child. And so I was trying to help them with that. And so I'm really like, suppressing, because like I want to help them and, help them get through this. And then it was like 2 weeks after I got home from his funeral, a young man at my command committed suicide. And I was just, it was like the final blow. It was like I had nothing left in the tank. And it was just, and then there's so much, and in the military, it's just a different dynamic than like, in a high school. Oh, this, person committed suicide, and oh, did you know them? Oh, I don't know. But I don't know, in the military, it's like, you deploy together, you travel together. It's like I knew this kid's personal life, and things that were going on with him, and it's just, it's just such a shock and everything. And then once again, like I suppress, because everybody's looking at me to try to keep things together, and that was just,
that's hard. That definitely sounds hard. It's like that seems. I wouldn't know what to do. Like at that position, it's just like, how can I help everyone else move on, but I still can't move on yet because I need to help everyone first.
Right. And I'm still dealing with these other two losses. It's like I haven't had any time. So that was just really rough. And, so that was, February 2017. And then, we found out about, going to Italy, which, was something that I was kind of wanting to do. And then I think it was actually the day I was flying out, your coworker was kidnapped.
My coworker was kidnapped. And I was supposed to meet her that same morning as well. And, like, I called her phone. I guess should I talk about it? Like,
yeah, because I mean, it was in the news. It's not like it was,
Okay, so yeah, I was supposed to meet my coworker. She apparently she got there super early. Didn't even know about it. She didn't even call me to let me know about that. When I got to work and I saw nobody was there, I called her twice. This man picked up and he's like, "Hey, I found this phone in the dumpster. I'm not sure who you're trying to reach, but yeah, like so after that I called my manager and she called the cops. Long story short, they found her body, and
it was like 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks later in
North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina, in like a church dumpster. I don't know. And my work didn't even offer anything, actually. They kind of just like, all right, let's get past this and let's continue working. I don't know why I stayed as long as I did there, I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, you're a very dedicated individual, so that's kind of like, but I mean, the one positive, they did pass a law. Actually, her parents got a law passed.
Yeah, she got it's a bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In Virginia, to where, if somebody, it was basically, do you know the gist of it? It's like if somebody's missing, an adult is missing, you can report them,
Yeah, and I think there's like an Amber Alert, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. But for essentially adults, because that was one of the reasons why I think it took so long to find her, is because it's like, well, she's an adult. Well, what if she just, decided to go to, a friend's house?
I was questioned that so many times. Like, if she went to a friend's house, she ran away. I was like, no, she's in school. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so that was, it was pretty terrible. And this is like right when David and I left.
Oh yeah, David's my brother. Just so that's out there.
And so I mean, it was so I know that was horrible for you, obviously, but it was horrible for me being a couple thousand miles away, and like I just like couldn't be there for you, know. And again, like I said, that whole, as a mother, it's like you always want to try to take care of your kids and stuff. And so it was, again, that was just a really tough time. Plus, then now I'm moving to a new place and getting to a new command, and I still have not even processed the emotional burden of those other losses. And so and again, it's back to, suppress, because, particularly females in leadership positions, there's always, especially like overseas, a lot of the foreign militaries have not had women serving for very long. Like the Italian military, they've only had women allowed to serve since the year 2000. And so that's very, very recent history if you think about it, because the first time I was stationed in Italy was in 1992. So there were no women in the military at that time. And I remember talking to some people. I went out with some friends, and they're like, one of the guys that I worked with, I was senior to him, and this Italian, he's like, so she's in charge of you? And it's like, yes. And he's like, I could not work for a woman. And it's like, dude, I'm like, we're talking here. It's like, but anyways,
Go to the next thing.
Yeah. So no, but anyways, so where we're at with that is, so particularly, so why am I doing this? So, like I said, kind of heading into this last tour that I did here in the Navy, I was already, kind of not in a good place, really. And, stress is cumulative. So people are different in how they respond to stress. For me, my stress builds physically, okay? Like, so I typically will work out a lot because that helps me to relieve stress. That is, for me, is a great way for relieving stress. However, even with the working out, over the past 3 years, the stress has just continued to accumulate. Again, with just kind of bottling things up and stuff like that. And so, like, I just started, I am dealing with a lot of physical ailments right now. I believe are potentially stress induced. And, I know while it takes time to get to that stage of inflammation in your body, where inflammation is basically your body's attacking itself,
Yep.
And so stress can do that. And I feel like I've been doing that to myself, and I need to kind of reverse that, because, quite frankly, it's like I'm in pain, like, physically, like every day. And, whether it's my lower back, or it's, my wrist. I have electrodes coming off of my foot So that because with my fuzzy socks covering them up.
She's got like 20 fuzzy socks. It's ridiculous.
And to be honest, that's just to help me, like, even be able to walk, through the pain and stuff. And it's just, so for me, like, I really want to do this because it's kind of like my own, like an accountability piece. Because if we're going to sit here talking about this, then we need to dedicate some time every day. So we're making this commitment, right? So that we are modeling what we're
preaching.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Like for meditation and
yes.
all that? Okay, sure.
Okay.
That's sure.
Okay. So it has been shown that a minimum of 12 minutes of meditation a day for 6 weeks can rebuild neural pathways to help to improve a whole bunch of areas. Cognition, so how you think, creativity, stress reduction, lowering blood pressure, lowering inflammation, helping to relieve pain, even reversing the course of some diseases, So that is something that we're going to commit to at least 12 minutes a day, right?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 12 minutes is what we're shooting for. So now, not everybody can like just jump into meditating, because think about it like going running, okay? Your brain kind of has to work up to that too. Because I remember the one time you were like, I feel like I'm doing this wrong because like I feel like I'm almost asleep.
Yeah. Sometimes I do fall asleep, but there's a point now like where I understand where I'm supposed to be. It definitely takes practice.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I've had people, they're like, I can't keep my mind blank. And some days are going to be worse than others as far as that's concerned. But again, it's like, running or, any other activity, not only, so when you're doing physical activity, not only are you building up, the muscles in your body, you are also building up corresponding neural pathways. Okay, so kind of like the same thing when your body gets used to exercising in a certain way, and you get stronger, the same thing is going to happen with the meditation and the mindfulness. So again, like I said, the mindfulness is the focusing on what's right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So my buddy, he commented, I meditated daily for 3 months, and that was one of the biggest things that positively impacted my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get back into it. Yeah, definitely. I'm about to be doing it every day, so you should be also doing it every day. And as she just said, 12
Mm-hmm.
minutes a day.
Yeah, minimum 12 minutes a day. So for those who've never done this before, one of the things that we're going to talk about is like just for this week, just to like sort of baby steps. Just find a timer. You can set a timer on your phone or whatever when you have, let's say, 5 minutes even, and it can be in your office if you have a private office. I don't know. You can go outside like on a bench, which would be even better with like all this COVID stuff going on. Get outside.
Or you could do it in your car as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just have your windows down if it's a nice day, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't want to freeze yourself or have rain, be drenched. Like, you can do it in your car. I don't know. That's where I mostly have done it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have done the same thing as well. Particularly, on some of my worst commutes there.
Oh.
You just put it in park on the freeway. It's like, it's terrible.
Let me tell you, like, there's, I don't know, like when I worked I remember there's this one time that I absolutely had to meditate. Otherwise, I would just blow up on my manager because he was being an idiot. Um, I was like, okay, I'm putting myself on break because no one else is gonna tell me, and I'm just gonna go and meditate. And one of my other managers were there. He was just laughing. He's like, okay, yeah, that's probably a good idea. You enjoy that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's and again, those are just, we'll talk about stuff like that, kind of in some future episodes and stuff as well. But yeah, so just breathing though. So what you can do. So you're going to kind of demonstrate right now.
Oh, I am.
Yeah. So just sit comfortably.
Yeah, you're just chilling, and then just.
You don't talk, I talk.
Okay.
So you're demonstrating. So you're sitting. So just close your eyes. Because then that kind of helps shut out the stimulation, helps your brain to sort of shut down because your brain likes activity and wants to keep going. So you shut your eyes and just take a deep breath in. Hold it for 4 seconds. Let it go, slow, all the way out, all the way. Hold it empty for 4 seconds. Deep breath in, slow. Hold. Release. So you do this 4 times. And then you just start breathing naturally. So just start breathing naturally. Eyes closed. And and now what you're doing is you're just focusing on your breath. So you're just feeling your lungs filling up. And, if you can focus on that and just focus on feeling your lungs expanding and the air is going out. And then you can, again, your lung is expanding, the air is going out. You can even think, feeling the coolness of the fresh air coming in, and then how the air is now warm coming out. You can even feel like, you feel the air tickling over the hairs in your nostrils. Which means you might need to trim that.
Probably.
Okay, so that's kind of the gist of that with the breathing exercise. Again, just super simple, just focusing on your breathing. So that's kind of like our focus for this week is just the breathing exercises. And remember, we're trying to get to the 12 minutes a day. And
breathing is free. You don't need to spend anything for meditation.
Yeah, and again, especially right now with COVID, and I know clearly that's hopefully something that's on everybody's mind right now.
Hopefully.
Anyway, but getting outside and getting like 15 minutes of sunlight if you can every day away from other people, so that you're keeping your distance and not breathing on other folks. Just first off, the fresh air is going to do you some good. Even if it is cold outside, that's actually good for you. A moderate amount of cold exposure is, pretty refreshing, and it actually can help alleviate, depression as well.
By breathing cold air?
Breathing cold air. Taking the cold walks like we talked about.
Oh, yeah. We have we're doing these things called shiver walks, and you're literally just outside in a tee in freezing weather. Well, you got like some sweatpants and shoes and socks, of course.
So you're kind of wanting to keep the upper body
exposed to the elements.
Yeah, you can have earmuffs and gloves, and we'll talk about stuff like this a little further on as well. But, but yeah, so getting some fresh air, like 15 minutes a day, getting that sun exposure helps to build your immune system up. So, even, because it's like one of those things. It's like, you ever go to work and you have, some people like they're like, the outbreak monkey, right? Where they're always sick and then they're getting everybody else sick. You can build up your immune system to where even if you did get sick, hopefully you won't get as sick. And that's kind of, where a lot of this self-care is like preventive maintenance, and that, is what you're looking for. Obviously, you want to, pay attention to other things too, washing the hands, the social distancing, all that kind of stuff. But wearing the mask.
Please wear your mask.
Okay.
And it still doesn't count if your nose is exposed. Like, I don't understand. Like, you gotta cover. That's also going to your lungs, believe it or not. I mean,
yeah, and really the cloth face covering is more about being respectful towards other people, because like the N95 mask is what would protect you from breathing it in. So, but if everybody is wearing the cloth face covering, then that is minimizing, because like when you talk, there's always moisture spit coming out, whether you see it or don't, it's coming out. Same thing coming out of your nose. The moisture is coming out. And, so.
Cold shock response was the name, y'all. Yeah. She, I guess I'm going to be doing it later.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight. Who knows?
Anyway, so yeah, but so wearing the cloth face covering is more about respecting other people than for yourself. And again, the N95 mask is about protecting yourself. So if you have a weak immune system or whatever, invest in the N95 masks. If you're going on a plane, invest in the N95 mask. But
it's actually really nice, and it's I don't know, it's honestly, I'm not a big fan of masks because I have glasses, but I don't know, I'll wear it if it's gonna protect my life. So,
or others,
others too, especially
because how do I mean, and again, I'm a pretty healthy individual. How do I know that I wasn't exposed and I could be walking around spreading it to other people? That's why I wear the mask, so out of respect for others.
Yeah.
So but all right, so
do you want to be talking about now?
Well, okay, so we can kind of wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah.
And then, so next week, we are going to get a little bit more into some specifics with the mindfulness. We will talk about eating mindfully. And perhaps we can get a few video clips this week.
Of our food?
Of eating mindfully and not.
Oh. Ooh. Does that mean we can binge on something?
Sure. And we can get clips of our family members not eating mindfully.
I don't, sure. I mean, just like we're coming out with cameras and they'll never. They're like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing?"
But that's just more fun that way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So
you want to talk about what it is a little bit?
No, because then that would ruin it for next week.
Spoiling for next week. Okay.
Exactly. So I think we just gave a little taste of the
taste
for next week's eating mindfully, and and then also I think next week then we'll get a few links to some resources. So we can throw that up as well, and potentially even throw some into this when you post it on YouTube.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be putting like all of these on a YouTube channel. We're not too sure the name just yet, but I mean, we have a couple in mind. But yeah, there should be a YouTube channel, and I'll have it in my like bio underneath, so you guys can just click and access to that, just in case if you missed any of the previous episodes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what else? Yeah, next week at 8 p.m. we'll be doing the same thing, covering Eastern, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Why the stream in? It's just gonna end today because today is about Mindfulness Monday. The normal streams, they'll be on Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday and Monday, they're my off days. Except Monday, I'm doing this. So.
Right. And yeah, and so also next week at the end we will do a guided meditation. So.
Yes. And also Friday, we're gonna be this Friday. I asked him to pick up some pumpkins. I don't know if you want to carve some with me. That's what I'm gonna be doing Friday. So if you guys can come.
We're streaming that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She may or may not be there. It's up to her.
Yes, because I'm real busy these days.
Quite. Very busy. Okay. Well, wrap it up.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for Mindfulness Monday, our first episode. Hopefully you guys join again next week. Thank you again. And bye-bye. Guess I bye or just bye?
Bye.